See, we even look good together.
We look awesome together.
All right, so I am sitting here with Miss Lois Kramer Perez. She is just this amazing goddess, angel, healer that I've been privileged to know you for the last 4 years. Has it been 4 years? I think ever since we launched Lady Savant. So
yes.
Just so everyone over here knows, we are also on on Facebook /LadySavant.com going live. So if you see us going back and forth, that's exactly why. So I just wanted to let everybody know there. But today we're so excited because we're talking about miracles and how to spot a miracle. This is one of my favorite subjects. I love talking about miracles because they appear in my life all the time, and I'm so excited about it. I'm always so grateful. And, I have this other very super analytical side to me where I like to figure out, well, why did it happen? How did it happen? How did I make that happen, So thank you, and welcome for joining us, Lois.
Thank you, Marielle. Great to be here.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about miracles. We were just talking about how you were saying that we don't realize how we've been creating them all the time. What do you think?
I think that it appears that when a miracle happens, it just instantly showed up and it's like, wow, oh my gosh, how could that have happened? But if we really stop and think about what it is, we've really been putting all the pieces in place. And it's important to spot these miracles because it gives us validation that what we've been doing all along is what we need to continue.
Exactly. And what are some of the things that we do in our life that prepare us to manifest miracles, you think?
It's how we live our life. It's how we think every day. It's on a very basic level of what are your thoughts? How do you talk to yourself in your mind? What are the things that you automatically say without thinking? What happens? Do you say, oh, I'm so stupid? Or, oh my God, how did I do that? All these little conversations that we have with ourselves. We may think them, we may say them out loud, but what are we really doing?
Right. That makes a lot of sense. We were talking a little while ago about you've been going through this whole new training, which she's always learning something on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and what I understand of that is it's really about the self-talk that we have with ourselves every single day and how we program or reprogram that part of our mind. Is that what you're kind of talking about? Like the signals that we get in our mind by the words that we speak?
Absolutely. And I'm very fortunate that I was given not one but two teachers to begin to show me this path when I started noticing my miracles. And between the feng shui, which connects to the things we see is what we become.
Right.
And without even thinking, the things we put into our space connect to what we want to be, what we're creating, feelings, thoughts. It's like we said it and then we forget all about it, but it's always happening. And then the clearing work, which I was introduced to, is another way to connect to consciousness.
What is clearing?
So for me, clearing is a term that was taught by my teacher, Eric Dowsett.
Okay.
And he uses it as a way to connect to our consciousness, to really understand we are not our thoughts and feelings.
Right.
We don't have to become every single thing that's around us. And when I first learned about this concept of, well, if that feeling isn't mine, whose is it? Took me a while to remember something.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah. So here's a feeling, all of a sudden I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm something. But is it mine or is it somebody else's? So is it live or is it Memorex, right? Because our mind cannot distinguish between a memory or if it's actually happening. But if there's a vibration of a feeling, if we've ever felt one.
Rewind. Our mind cannot distinguish between whether it's a memory or if it's happening. Did you guys hear that? That's really powerful.
So a memory is just as powerful. And imagination is just as powerful as a live event.
Which is why visualization works.
Yes. Absolutely. And when they say fake it till you make it, you're training yourself to be conditioned to have something actually happen. And this is how the miracles are born. By thought, by action, by feeling, by doing.
Exactly. So what is your definition of a miracle?
A miracle to me is something that is almost like a divine happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that just happens and it's effortless and it brings amazing power and light.
Yes. And is it something, do you believe that that miracles just happen every day, or is it something unusual that is happening? It's unusually divine in your life. Sometimes I get a little confused because people say, well, everything's a miracle. And it's true. I mean, life is a miracle, and everything that the breath that we breathe is a miracle, and it's in a way. What do you think? Do you think that there's a distinction between everyday miracles and the ones that really kind of like blow you away? Like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I've had a couple of those happen, but I also feel those kinds of miracles I've totally prepared myself for. Mind, visualizations, belief, faith, that kind of thing. What do you think?
I think that there are these little mini miracles happening all the time that we don't really recognize.
Yeah.
And they're part of the seeds that we keep planting and nourishing and cultivating. So when the big ones happen, the ones that really get our attention, they're there for a purpose to let us know, yes, yes, it is possible. Yes, keep doing this. Yes, you wanted it, you got it.
Yeah.
Yes, it can happen.
And once you do it once,
they just keep coming.
They just keep coming. So let's talk about a story. I love stories, and I know you love stories. Everybody loves stories. And you have an amazing story with your passport. Remember that story you told me?
Yes.
Tell us, please.
Okay, so this
is one of the most amazing miracles that I've ever heard of. So
Okay, so I had been studying feng shui and this clearing work for about, I guess, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to just leave this job?
She was working in corporate for Liz Claiborne at that time. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Wouldn't it be great to leave this job and just do something because I wanted to do it? Yeah. And I had actually said that to my husband when I was about 45.
Okay.
And he said, well, quit your job. I said, well, I don't know what it is. And then we just put it aside, and life happened and different things happened along the way. Fast forward to, all right, I'm on a trip with my Liz Claiborne design team, and we were in Korea first, and we flew to Shanghai. We get to Shanghai, and I check in at the hotel, and I can't find my passport. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just used it to get through customs. So I said, I probably dropped it by customs. Here's my info. Call the airport. Good things happen to people. Well, I'm going out to dinner. I'll be back in a few hours, and you're going to find it. And the concierge was very polite, and he said, okay. And off I go to dinner, and everyone, what are you going to do? I go, they're going to find it. There's no other outcome. We've got a lot to do. We've got a lot of things happening, and they'll find it. It's very simple. I dropped it. They'll find it. And off I go. And I have to tell you, it took some deep breathing and pause to just connect to, no, you're not going there. You are not going to panic. You're not going to those feelings. This is possible. It's very simple. You dropped it, they'll pick it up, and they'll find it. And guess what? I go back to the hotel, and the concierge had a big grin on his face, and he said, good news, good things happen to people. We found your passport. And I went, okay. And then the tears just flew, and it was an awesome moment. I said, you know what? If I could do this, I could do anything. And it's time. I'm just going to leave this world and do something different. And off I went. So that was the beginning.
That is so incredible. And so the very first thing that you did on a physical level was deny the fear.
Yes.
That you were naturally going to feel. I mean, if I lost my passport and I was in Shanghai were you?
Yes, I was in Shanghai.
I would freak out.
And what was interesting, one of my colleagues had just lost her passport a few months earlier on a trip in the same country. Wow. Dropped it in the airport, and she had a nightmare. It was a whole twirl. I said, you know what? I didn't care what anybody was feeling. Wow. I would not connect to anybody's anything. I just knew this is how it's going to be. I just decided they're going to find it. I gave them the information. It's maybe 20 minutes since I dropped it. It's easy. This is all that I will accept. This is a direct line.
That is brilliant. And it's also, I feel like, the second step. This is all I will accept.
Yes. I decided.
You decided. There was a decision that you made.
Yes.
So what does somebody have to do to find those, to get that bravery and be that bold? Do they have to learn about everything? Like, how does somebody get there, do you think? It's not easy.
Well, sometimes life can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you are that focused
Mm-hmm.
on something, you can get your superpowers and a miracle can happen. So I'm sure as a mom, if there was a situation with a child and it was save the child.
And something's really important.
Really important.
Yeah.
You will do anything.
Yes.
So I have another miracle before I even realized what a miracle was. This is going back maybe 30 years. I was, again, in the fashion industry. I had to catch a plane to meet my boss to go to Chicago. It was 6 a.m. It had just snowed. We had all these snowbanks. And when I backed my car to get it out of the driveway, it got stuck on a hump of snow. Well, a neighbor came out. I said, come over here. I got to get going. Help me. Help me. We can lift the car and we can get it off the hump. And together we lifted my car, go! And there I am, all dressed up, looking pretty awesome. And I lifted a car with the help of my neighbor. And he looked at me and he said, the next time he saw my husband, he said, don't ever get her angry. She can lift a car. But think about, I was so intent that I had to get to the airport. And there was no other decision. I decided I'm getting there and I'm not going to get stuck on this hump of snow. We can lift the car. Together we can do it. Boom. And off I went. And then as I'm driving, I go, what the hell just happened? How did I do that?
Oh my God.
So it's really the desire to have it. The desire is so great. There's nothing else you will accept. And you will find, they talk about all the time, people find strength in a time of need. Things you haven't imagined could really happen. Having that decision. So the miracle that happened in Shanghai was really a miracle that the intention was set many, many, many months prior, because I was already conscious of deciding I'm ready for something different. I'm ready for something different. I just want to be able to...
That was like the sign.
So it was almost like the sign that said, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do this. We're being tested all the time. We put out a thought, I want this. And the universe says, you really want it? Okay, show me how much you want it. How much do you really want it?
Exactly, which is one of the reasons why I always say you have to really nurture your passion. You have to nurture your imagination, because when you give yourself the permission to want something that you connect with yourself and you want something and it's true, not something that you want because your family wants it for you or it's something you're supposed to do, something that's really true to your core. I feel like those are the things that are easier to manifest and turn into miracles, don't you think?
Yes, and you have to really be specific.
Yes.
Because generalizations don't really get us anywhere. Wishy-washy, mushy-mushy, it's all good, but you're kind of just floating in limbo. So we have to go from limbo to power. We have to go from limbo to really deciding, what is that one thing? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And I had been sitting at my desk, driving in my car, sitting in my house for months, just feeling how awesome it could be to just do the feng shui and the clearing, or whatever I'm going to call it. Just work with people, teach, share, just be with this new way to live.
Right.
Just every day. I'm ready for something different. How would it feel? What would it be like? I would daydream. I would have all these imagination stories going on, but it was all about the same thing. All about the same thing. And that's how I manifested an iPod. I
remember the story of the iPod.
I was carrying a boombox around because I'm a little slow on the techno. I get there eventually. And I had this big boombox and I had my CDs for my meditation class and I'd have to go in and set it up. And I said, people have that little thing. I see there's that thing there. You can put the thing in. I could carry a little thing in my pocket. And I was imagining it as I would get in and out of my car, carrying that boombox. Oh, I have to do this. It'll be so easy. And I won a football raffle from my boyfriend's grandson. And I got a call coming out of the meditation class one Thursday morning. And they said, good news, you won second prize, the iPod Nano. I said, see, if you really want it, you can make it happen. You're determined to get it. If you don't go out and buy it, someone will give it to you.
That's amazing.
And that's just one of the other manys. But it's about really getting decisive. What is it you want? How do you want it? How does it feel when you get it? Can you feel it? Can you be it? Create every imagination about what it is.
Exactly.
And that it becomes your vibration.
Absolutely.
So when the time comes, when the universe says, all right, step up, do you really want it? You just don't even think, you just do it. Yes, I want it.
Yeah, and I feel like so many times the journey is about just gaining that confidence that having what you want and having a miracle in your life is something that not only you deserve, but that you are entitled to. It is one, we love to call them superpowers. It's one of your God-given superpowers
Absolutely.
to have miracles happen every single day.
Yes.
Well, I love that. Thank you, Lois.
You're welcome.
So, real quick, Lois actually does a variety of things. She's an amazing entrepreneur, and I have seen Lois grow so much within the last 4 years that she's always learning something, and she's always testing something new, and you're always super open about everything, really. So one of the things that she does is she does feng shui for your home, which actually, no, I got that wrong. She feng shuis people, places, and things. And you also do this clearing, meditations, and energy. I remember, I'll talk a little bit about a miracle that I had. It's so funny. Every time I talk about a miracle, it's like, oh, I got a ticket. But it's actually this year, I got my first ticket. I think it was my first or my second. I got 3 total for being on the phone while I was driving. I don't know what I was thinking. It's really bad. Don't do it. But I think it was the second one. And here I am. I'm at the courthouse, and, it's the second one. And Lois text messages me something. I don't know. I think we were going to talk or something. And I told her, that I was there, and I was I was waiting to be called up or whatever. And I was really afraid, actually, because I was like, oh my God, they're going to suspend my license or something. She's like, you're okay. I'm sending you a clearing. I kid you not. After I got off from texting her at the courthouse, this little old lady comes up to the judge when he is reading my sentence. I don't know what she told him, but she basically told him enough to have the judge say, oh, yes, there is that clause. Okay, she looks like a nice lady. I'm going to let it apply to her. And I got off clean. How crazy is that? I mean, didn't have to pay anything. Like, it was something that she told him, and I always say, Lois did it! She cleared me! So, anyways, that's my little miracle story with you.
I love doing that. That's one of my clearing on demand services.
Yes, people call her to clear all kinds of situations.
Yes.
So, Lois, thank you so much for joining us today. You know that I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. I love my lady Savant.
Namaste.
Namaste.